Well, good morning, folks. The other day I did a proof of concept, and I built over here on this piece of paper a set of flashers using a digital turn signal relay or flasher and some 6-volt LED bulbs that I had bought. So today what we're going to try and do is hook that up to the wiring of the bike, which is, there's the original flasher, and we'll pull that out, and hopefully the new one will fit right up into that rubber grommet, and we can just connect those leads to it, and that should connect it to this switch here and this switch here, which this one gives it power and this one directs the power from the flasher out to the lights. So I'll probably just hang the lights on for now, and we'll see if everything works before we start drilling holes and mounting new lights. Alright, so what we're going to do is, first, you can see up here is where the old flasher mounted, this rubber, and we want to see and make sure that the new flasher will go in there and stay in place, and it does. It fits just perfectly. Okay, we'll push it up further, of course, but right now we want to take these two leads off of this flasher and put them over on this flasher. So I need two hands to do that, and I'll be back. They're all hooked up properly, I hope. I'm gonna go get me a meter, and well, I just knocked my light down. I want to make sure that when I turn the key on that I get 6 volts to this post right here. Alright, so let's turn the key switch on, knock our light down, put it back where it was. Doesn't want to stay there very well. We have our probe here. Let's touch this to here, and we do not have 6 volts. I gotta wonder if my probe here works on 6 volts. So I think I'll test that out and be back. Alright, so I found out what my problem was. It was my ground over here was not working. So now if we get on the brown, and you can see that we do have power there. So we're going to put that back up in its holder, and we're going to find out if we have brown, or if we have power, or connection at least, between the flasher and the switch, because the output of the flasher goes to the center pin of this switch right here, and then that switch switches that output from the flasher to the left or to the right. Okay, I'll be back. We just verified that this 6 volts goes to the turn signal relay right here. Now we want to verify that the output of the turn signal relay, which is an orange wire, goes through a single connector to the turn signal switch, which should flip it silver or green to connect to the lights. So let's find out right here. We need to take the wire off on this end and verify that it goes to this connector here, which goes to the turn signal switch, which appears to be, yeah, that's a single connector. All right. Well, gee, that's a surprise. I found my own orange wire. It goes to a 4-pin connector instead of a 1-pin connector. And it's in the headlight, but the headlight is not correct for this bike. I don't know if it is a Stanley, which was pretty prevalent brand for lighting in Japan back in the 70s. I don't know if it still is or not, to tell you the truth. But what I can tell you is it's not the headlight for this bike. And this is hooked up. It's just soldered in place. They didn't bother to put a connector on it. I may have a connector someplace. But the headlight bulb has only got one element in it, and I think it's the low element. So what to do? But I did find the orange wire, so I can check and make sure that it's connected back to the flasher assembly, and I'll do that next. Alright, so continuing on with this, trying to install turn signals, what I found was that this wire and this one right here were tucked back down in here, but they cut the wires off that go to the turn signals, so it did have turn signals on it. What I also did was I found the connector down here. It goes up to the turn signal switch, and this one goes back to the flasher, and I checked continuity between here and the flasher, and that's good. And I took my light and I checked continuity between the two pins, the central one and the light one. In other words, the one that comes from the flasher, it goes up to the switch up there, and the switch, depending on which position it's in, sends that signal back down to here on either a silver or a green wire. So I checked those, and the orange wire going up has the signal on it. When you put the thing in, on one position, it feeds that signal back to one of the wires here that goes to the turn signal light, and when you put it in the other position, it sends it to the other wire that goes to the other light. So basically I've figured out that the turn signal should work once I get everything connected up. That this headlight, it should be a metal shell, and on top of that, only one beam on the headlight works. So I'm kind of at a quandary here. I don't know what's the best thing to do. I can get a new headlight shell for 12 bucks, or a used one, but a headlight itself is going to cost me a bunch. So, like $100. I don't know if I want to put that kind of money into it or just hook it back up with this. I don't know. I'm going to go do some searching on eBay, see what I can find. Well, good afternoon. I'm going to do a little bit more proof of concept on these LED turn signals on this bike. I've got the flasher installed down here. It's that blue thing right in the middle of the screen. Okay, I've got the rear turn signals, well, kind of in place. I still got to make a bracket for this because I don't like the way this is. Here, there. This, I got threads on the inside of this channel, but it's too long, so it doesn't go all the way through, and you can't tighten it down real good. If you do get it tight, I'd have to use spacers in here to make sure it was pointing backwards, but I don't like that anyway. So, I think, but I have the orange wire from each one of them attached to the green wire coming out of the main wiring harness here, and this orange wire comes over and attaches to the silver wire coming out of the main wiring harness. And then the green wires from the LED bulbs are tied together and are tied to ground right here, as are the ones from the front. So these are the two wires that were here but had been cut off. So the hot wire is connected to this bulb on which one? Darned if I know. Yep, this one. This one is the hot wire. It connects to this bulb on the orange wire, and the other one goes to ground, and then this one connects to this other one, which is here, which we don't want to short out. And when we turn the key on, we get our neutral light, and when we operate the turn signals, we get this one, this one, and then we go the other way and we hopefully get this one and this one, and for some reason we also get the flasher signal up on the dashboard. So all I got to do is straighten out the wiring, get it finished up, and I can't do that because I found out that this is the wrong headlight for this bike, and somebody, well, one of the elements is gone, is blown, and somebody soldered it to this bulb, and this also is the wrong bulb for this particular bike. I don't know what this headlight came off of, but I found a relatively cheap bucket on eBay, But the bulb itself, which they say has both elements working, was rather expensive. These 6-volt bulbs are terrible. But anyway, that should be in the next couple of days. And then I'll finish this up. I'll fix all the wiring and make it work. And we'll have turn signals. What do you want, Shelby? Huh? You want to go outside, huh? Is that what you want? Come here. You want to go outside or what? Oh boy, let's go outside. It's 19 degrees out there. But you do have a nice fur coat, don't you? Come on. Oh, you're already there. You didn't waste any time, did you? No, that's what we want. We want to go out. Yeah, I heard you. Yeah, there you go. All right. She won't go anywhere but in her yard here. She doesn't like to go wander around. She just wants to stay in her little yard out there. So anyway, that was a little brief interlude with the dog there. Not my dog, it's my nephew's. He lives here with me. And anyway, we should be getting those parts in. And I'll try and film some of the bit with me fixing the wires properly. I got a whole box of connectors out there, and we'll get them fixed and get them working.